Okay, uh, welcome to Business Works, ladies and gentlemen. This is our second episode where we'll be talking about the film industry and uh, how the COVID-19 situation has impacted it. So we have two special guests uh, tonight. And the first one is, before I'm going to introduce him, I'm going to play a short video. Watch this. And so, if you watch the video, there's a very special guest. This guy has worked on Hollywood, Bollywood, especially in the British film industry, producing several documentaries, films, none other than Amadin Ryan. Amadin, welcome to the show. How are you doing today?
Hello, very well. Thank you very much for inviting me on your show.
Thank you for, I know that you have a really busy schedule. Even though there's the COVID-19 happening, I know that you have a busy schedule. And I know that you're stuck in Germany right now. So, ladies and gentlemen, he's live from Germany. So, Amadin, before we start the show, would you like to speak a few words about your projects and what you have done so the viewers can get an understanding of it?
Well, before that, I'd just like to say, at this time, just to acknowledge all of those people who, at this moment in time, especially within our industry, have been lost due to this terrible epidemic and pandemic and crisis. And also to those that have been lost or who we've lost um, for other reasons, other causes during this time. They're all precious to our industry,
Indeed.
and we feel the effects of everybody that we lose. I mean, recently, as you know, we lost Nick Powell, who was the head of the National Film and Television School and was a mentor to people internationally around the world.
Right.
Um, Recently, I heard that going back to your other guests that you've got here, we just lost Ifram Khan.
Indeed.
And, at the end of the day, as a community, I think it's a time for us to pull together, look at our strengths, and keep fighting. I just wanted to say that because,
Indeed.
there's so many amazing people that, because of the crisis, their particular situations have been eclipsed, and their passing has not been as yet marked as it should be.
Indeed. Yeah, and it's a really tragic news. When I first heard, I think was it yesterday that I heard about some of the Bollywood actors passing
Yeah.
in some of my favorites films. Who's this? I think our next guest would shed some light of some of his movies. But Amadin, what are the projects that you have worked on in the British film? I know that you have done many,
Oh,
many
well,
projects.
one of the ones that I think is most probably the most relevant to what we're talking about today is a documentary that I made some time back, which was called Makers Our Story, which was about the behind the scenes of the UK independent film industry and its
Right.
struggles. And it charted things like the closing of the UK Film Council, also the devastating effects that the British Prime Minister, Mr. Gordon Brown, unleashed onto the UK film industry, which had lasting effects that I believe the industry still have not recovered from.
Right.
I would say that this film was a film that we made to give people the opportunity to see how things happen and how things can happen and how creatives and creative talents all over the world can make
Yeah,
really good movies, television work, and who can help them.
indeed.
And so I think that was that. I think it was released in 2011. We're going back and looking at the crisis at the moment. I think that people can gain um, something from the essence of the struggle that we showed in that film and also the triumphs, because whether you are battling tax breaks, whether you are battling budgets, whether you are battling unions, studios, whatever it is,
Right.
um, governments who don't understand the industry as I'll just come on to that now since we're talking about it. You know, I
Okay,
heard
just give me a minute, Amadin. We can go to like all the details of this documentary. Before
sure,
that, I'm gonna introduce our next guest. Okay, so before before I introduce her, I want you to watch this video. Okay, so she's the projects manager of UK Asian Film Festival, the festival and the projects manager. We've got Aman on the show, ladies and gentlemen. So,
Hello.
Aman, how are you?
Hi, Angelo. Thank you. Thank you so much for inviting me on the show. But yeah, as you mentioned, and as you know, the UK Asian Film Festival has just completed its 21 years. It is the longest running South Asian film festival in the world outside of India. And yeah, I mean, it's just really unfortunate due to obviously COVID, we've had to cancel the festival. But just going back to what Amadin earlier mentioned, all the losses to the industry and the passing of such great talent. We had Irfan Khan yesterday and also Rishi Kapoor said this morning as well. So that was a very tragic loss to the industry. Rishi Kapoor being from one of the founding Bollywood families of India, and Irfan Khan having such international acclaim. So yeah, very, very big loss to the industry.
Yeah, our condolences to the families of these actors, and I mean, and also who have passed due to the COVID-19 situation, especially the NHS personnel as well, nurses and doctors, and all those people who are in the front line. And thank you very much. A big thank you from all of us to everyone, to the whole world who's fighting and who's like in the front line of fighting this situation. And stay home, guys. Just a polite reminder, stay home. Let's all save lives, help everyone. And by the way, I'm gonna go to Amadin now to talk about a special scenario of what the COVID has done to the film industry. So Amadin, so what do you think the impact has been on the film industry so far, and how is it coping? Just what do you think about it?
I think coming back to what I was talking about before we switched over, there was an announcement from the BFI in the UK this week that they were putting into place a continuance or continuation fund for UK British filmmakers and people in media to receive some help and support. The amount that has been released, although it's being talked about, is £2 million. And coming back to what I was saying about Gordon Brown closing the tax breaks when he did and decimating the industry and putting it on its knees, the respect that the industry, and I think I don't think it's a national problem, I think it's an international problem, is lacking, and the support is lacking there as well, because the industry is in crisis, as is everybody else in the world, and £2 million for UK and British film industry it's a drop in the ocean, and it's an insult to the industry. The industry is suffering, and we see messages every day from people, from freelancers, from studio drivers, from writers, from screenwriters, from script editors, from people who really have been thrown into the wasteland, and where support is being made available to other industries, other people, the creative industry, as within certain circumstances, some of the service industries, people are falling between the cracks, or should I say, in certain cases, remaining between the cracks.
Right, indeed. Yeah, but and at the same time, I mean, I can only imagine these past situations, and then the COVID situation is making things even worse. Even like most of the people who are struggling are even in a worse situation, isn't it?
Well, yeah, in order to not have blank screens post-COVID, then these talents need to be looked after now, because the other thing that happens is that if the productions are not happening, then things get either cancelled or they get delayed. But we also have a situation where, coming back to Nick Powell and the National Film and Television School, where we have around the world such amazing emerging talents. And if there is nothing that they can do, and if there are no projects that they can get involved with, whether it be remotely, and I'll come on to that a little bit later, or if they don't have ways of networking and interacting with the industry and mentoring and support that they would normally get face to face, or by interacting with industry people through networking events, through film festivals and other things, where they can learn not only what other people are doing, experience what other people are doing, but also learn firsthand from industry professionals who can guide them and help them. Also, as well as film festivals, you've got trade shows, and you've got technology masterclass. You know, we've got people like Sony, Canon, Kodak, and so many others who, you know, are devoted to actually supporting anybody coming into the industry that wants to learn their craft and wants to, you know, really join a band of people who are committed to excellence. How you can do that remotely is, I guess, what we're trying to work out today.
Indeed. And do you, Aman, if you can hear me, right? Yep.
Yeah.
So, Aman, what do you think? Do you have any input, something to say about the film industry in general, and the impact that, I mean, I know that you're experiencing this firsthand with your festivals, but let's go on to the festival issues later on.
The work that I obviously do is more kind of festival related, but it's, you know, as Amadin mentioned, there's a lot of job losses, you know, again, with emerging talent. you know, artists. And I mean, I can obviously talk a bit more about the film festival side of things.
Right.
So would you like me to, well, I mean, first of all, I'd like to explain the nature of film festivals.
Okay, what we'll do is we'll go to a quick break and
Okay.
we'll talk about the film festival industry.
Okay,
And
thank you.
there are some adverts that we want to post, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be back in a couple of minutes.
This is my dad. He was once a bubbly, happy, and positive person. He had been a cancer patient for many years. When I was younger, I remember our long winter walks, the fun times in the park, and all those hilarious jokes. After recovery, he was constantly tired, demotivated, and closed off. I didn't see the amazing smile anymore. That's when I developed my first well-being range using what my mom used on me as a kid, coconut oil. I incorporated coconut oil with my extensive research in aromatherapy oils to help improve his mood. So I gave him a moisturizer, diffuser, and candle, which we named Caribbean Mood. I saw a difference in him, and I saw the amazing smile he used to have. I knew I had to share this with the world. Okay, giving the organic lifestyle you deserve.
Welcome back to the second segment, ladies and gentlemen. And now we are going to talk about the festival industry and how COVID-19 has impacted, especially the film festival industry. We've got Aman, who's the projects manager of the UK Asian Film Festival. So let's ask Aman. So, Aman, how do you think? I mean, I know that you're in the front line of the festival industry, film festival industry. So, how has the COVID-19 impacted you guys over there? Right. Right.
Some have had to be postponed, whereas some are actually delivering content online. Again, many jobs have been lost. Talking again about independent filmmakers, they themselves take on a personal risk hoping that their work will take them to their next level in their career. So for many, work is stuck in post-production, and where films are finished, there's no platform for them to be seen.
Right.
Also with cinemas, they are closed for the foreseeable future. There is a sense of uncertainty, definitely, amongst film festivals. Something like an international pandemic was not something that was expected.
Indeed,
it has forced the industry professionals to think about their organisation, their organisational structure and strategy now moving forward. With cinemas and film festivals, they're all about the experience of attending in person, and the majority didn't actually have a current strategy in place should they be forced to close. So, and even with things like showing content online, it does kind of raise a number of questions. So, for example, will the content provide as much interest as physically attending an event would? Festivals bring, they enhance film screenings with live discussions, masterclasses, exhibitions. You might not necessarily get that same experience at home. Although things like live streaming, it does give a communal atmosphere. You can interact with filmmakers and take part in Q&As online, which does encourage that a little bit of, that audience interaction, but you wouldn't get that live face-to-face kind of interaction. Even things like technology, is it all available to our target audience? A lot of the festival goers are loyal, they've been going to festivals for years, they're of the elderly population, and certain technology platforms that might not be easily accessible to them. But even the platform in which the films are shown on, they need to be credible, they need to have adequate security. Piracy is a big concern for filmmakers and for the festival itself. It also brings up questions of if there's a fee, how should this be set up? Would you pay the filmmaker a fee or split a box office with the venue it would have been shown at? There's a lot to really think about with showing online content. And now I think organisations are being forced to ask these questions and how they will tackle these moving forward. At the same time, we are seeing the industry pull together and support each other. Many film festivals are not-for-profit organisations like ours, and they do rely on funding, grants and sponsorship. Organisations such as the Arts Council and the British Film Institute have set up emergency funds that can help independent artists and organisations. They can apply to the organisation to help them continue to run and plan for the future. The impact of COVID-19 is felt across all industries. And again, even with sponsors that we work with, some provide cash sponsorship, but a key area of sponsorship is sponsorship in kind. It's, discounted hospitality such as flights, hotel rooms, catering and car travel. With the hospitality industry also suffering, and the uncertainty of whether sponsorship will be made available in the immediate future, it makes it very difficult for film festivals to plan ahead. Of course, the first and foremost priority is the well-being of everyone we work with and to support each other to stay resilient through this difficult time. But at the same time, we've seen so much creativity online. There's so many artists being creative, even from home, making short films. They're staying engaged with their online followers. I've even read today about a moving outdoor cinema in Madrid, where people are watching films from their balconies. So there's lots of, innovative kind of creative ways that people are now thinking outside of the box to deliver content. We ourselves as a festival have actually been posting content regularly online on our website. It's ucaf.com, UKAFF. We recently collaborated with Z5, which is you subscribe, it's a subscription, and there's films in all the regional South Asian languages to bring audiences, 1 month free, 1 month half price subscription. So that's the collaboration we've done with them. We're having like weekly sing-alongs, quiz nights, and we've also offered digital commissions for aspiring filmmakers. So we're providing 5 people with £1,000 each to make a 3-minute long digital film. So the deadline for that, I'll just mention, for the pitch is the 11th of May. And the project itself is titled Ray of Hope. And, that's something that you can find out more details on our website. And if you have any questions, you can email me through the website as well. But we are keen to continue to support, mentor young people, even in light of COVID-19. We're still offering internship opportunities. We're still offering volunteering opportunities. So, if that's something that anybody listening in is interested in, again, please do contact us via the website.
Right. What we're going to do is we'll place all the links and information right after the show in the information section, which they can go to the link where they can, apply for these amazing opportunities, and maybe, and I'm going to also place the email contact details of Amadin and Aman. So they are going to help you all, the filmmakers, the community, find maybe work, maybe opportunities. So we're going to put all the details below. And we are going to go to another advert break, ladies and gentlemen. And we'll see you in a couple of minutes.
AI Infinity really is about helping companies to enable them to use AI at the optimum level and to be more AI-driven companies to solve complicated use cases about the fraud, an example, or maybe customer engagement, facial recognition, and we just wanted to help them to be that. We would see ourselves as visionaries in detecting some edge computing on a very real-time basis of applications what we have here to enable companies to apply in different verticals.
Okay, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. So we are talking about the film industry and what the COVID has done to the film industry, basically, and the impact the COVID has placed on the cinema, film, and media industry. And we have 2 amazing guests tonight in our show, Aman and Amadin. Aman is the projects manager of UK Asian Film Festival, and Amadin is a broadcaster and film producer who has worked on many projects in many countries, including Hollywood productions and Bollywood productions. And now, Aman, how can we get out of this, and what's the long-term impact, do you think, that COVID has had on the film industry and the festival industry?
So I think COVID will definitely leave a lasting effect on the film industry, film festival industry. As I think it will with all industries. And I think it will definitely impact on the nature of how film festivals operate. That will change moving forward. The pandemic has alerted the industry to the fact that something like this, I mentioned before as well, that something like this can happen, and to be better prepared should something like this happen in the future. I think film festivals will now, they're likely to factor in an online digital strategy to their business plans, to their funding applications, and even their festival programs. So where maybe 100% of it was done, at physical events where you actually physically attend, I think there will always now be a consideration for an element of it to actually be done digitally online, making it more accessible. There will definitely be more investment in technology. I think that, for things like app building and development, assessing the work that can and can't be done remotely as well. I think as people are working from home, I think people are realizing, what actually can be done at home that might necessarily previously employers might have thought that, can't be achieved working from a home environment. So I think it's providing that technology.
Commercially within the industry.
It's having those technology requirements to carry out that work. And having that provided for in their home environment. So, investing in technology equipment,
and look outside
like that. So yeah, there'll be definitely an organizational restructure.
Yep.
Content.
And Amadin, are you there? We can actually, Amadin, do you want to add something onto the topic?
I always want to add something. That's why I'm here.
Of course. So yeah, we are talking about.
Okay. I agree exactly with what Aman has said there. And I think that, this is not a simple issue. Nothing is when it comes to creatives and creative. However, one of the things I would like to say is before we look at the impact and the ramifications of what's happened and what is going to happen, and when we are all walking out of the ashes like the phoenix, rising from the flames, let's just look for a moment about what's happening now. What's happening globally, but also what's happening locally. I'm here in Germany, and in Germany, I'm actually quite inspired by what the creatives are doing here and what people within the industry are doing here, because their clients are still there. Commercially, if you are working in the industry, your clients have certain needs. They still have needs with this global pandemic going on. They still have to get their message across, and they still need to be able to connect with their core client base, and also to communicate internally. These are global organizations, companies, supermarkets, whatever they are. So as creatives, there's one thing that I would say is take a leaf out of the book of what's happening here in Germany, and actually, if your clients are not approaching you, why not approach them and say, I am here, I do this, or we do this, what can we do for you during this situation? Because there is business to be had, and business is being done, and work is being done. So the one thing that we must remember is that it's not a holiday period. You may be locked down, but some of the skills that you have can actually be put to very good use now. And I'm seeing that in action here in Germany, and some great work is being done. And as Armand said, there are people doing some stuff in the festivals. They've got work. They need volunteers. They need people. There are creatives out there. If you're good at 3D graphics, if you're an amazing editor, whatever you have to offer as a writer or whatever, let's see. There must be a way of people being able to connect directly. Forget about going through perhaps some of the traditional routes. Go to your local source of work and knock on their door maybe and say, listen, what do you have? What do you need? How do you need to communicate to the market at this time? This is what we have that we can offer you. We don't want to be laying idle. When it comes to in a longer term, I think that it's important for people to remain as connected as possible. And again, as Armand said, in a safe way, to be able to deliver their work safely to the source, and also to be able to promote themselves. Um, um, However, at the same time, protect their ideas and protect, you know, this industry is an industry which is quite an interesting industry. And if you do come up with a great idea or a great concept and whatever, then you need to be able to get it directly to the right people. Um, uh, we have things like non-disclosure agreements and everything. At the end of the day, in court, they mean nothing if somebody's already stolen your idea. So I would say, whatever you do, still do it safely. And there are platforms and there are companies, there are communications companies. I'm involved with Copay Global Communications. And I mean, at the end of the day, if something needs to be set up or a platform or something like that where people can actually work remotely and move their data and information in an efficient, safe, and secure way, then this is also something that's very, very important. Coming back to some of the projects that I've worked on in the past, one of the things that's been key is that we've, over an extended period of time, been able to protect our content even to the point of distribution. And we had a situation with the movie that I was telling you about before, where actually, as the film was being duplicated, it was actually going online for free because it actually the factory itself, somebody within the factory was there actually stealing the film content that was coming through ready to be released. And so we are in a situation as filmmakers and broadcasters where more than ever, I think that we need to protect our business and we have to protect our content. And moreover, we have to prepare for the end of this initial stage of the pandemic and make sure that we are ready for when we come out of it, that we have some amazing content that we can offer the world. And also, I would urge governments and people, agencies mainly, who are given the responsibility as custodians to basically look after us, to use this COVID crisis to actually look closer into what this industry is all about, how it works, and the real needs of the amazing talent within this industry, and look at, for once, and I say for once, seriously address major shortcomings. Sometimes I believe that within the creative industries, governments and everything, they're quite happy to be there and say, yeah, the Oscars and red carpets and this, that, and all the rest of it, and put their names to things. This is British, or this is American, or this is Chinese, whatever. However, the people who actually delivered this content often have been living below below the line in order to actually deliver what is actually delivered. And for everyone that is made a hero, for every Downton Abbey, for every Billy Elliot or whatever it might be, there are thousands of other projects that can be delivered and will be delivered. However, they need support, and the creatives and the people behind the scenes at the coalface actually need to be, I would say, financially respected and looked after.
Right. And that's really important, isn't it? And we have to, as filmmakers, the filmmaking community and the film industry has to look after each other. That's the most important thing. And, work with each other, share your networks.
Well, this
And
comes back to what I was saying. Knock on the door. This is what's happening here in Germany. Knock on people's doors, talk to them, find out what they're doing, find out how you, at this moment in time, can help or get involved in a project that they're thinking about or they're doing or that they're potential clients that they could actually go to and say, well, okay, this project's been cancelled. However, what could that be replaced with? Let's get together, work together, and continue to deliver throughout this, because there will be casualties. This is a war. This is a battle, but it's not a battle that began with COVID. This is a battle that has been going on for many years within the industry. So basically, for us, I would say this is an opportunity for us to regroup, rearm, and come out of COVID a lot stronger to face the world, and also to deliver, I hope, some of the best content that audiences have seen to date.
Indeed. And make sure when you're knocking on someone's door, use an online method. All right? Don't literally knock on someone's door. And wear a face mask. All right? And by the way, Aman, what do you think? Like, I know that you are offering so much help for independent filmmakers as well. There are some opportunities that you're
I wanted to
giving out.
touch on actually even like the mental health of people that are in isolation. I
Right.
think, you know, especially when jobs are taken away and there can be a real kind of anxious build up. You know, and I forgot to mention earlier that our organisation is setting up a support line as well.
Right.
Our festival director, Dr. Pushpinder Chowdhury, is actually a qualified psychotherapist. So, and one thing she, you know, recognised when she founded the festival in 1999 was that the impact art therapy and things like film and you know, any art forms has on the mental well-being of people attending things like festivals and, you know, cinema, film screenings, and you know, and even it's just really providing that support. So we are setting up a support line as well, which there will be more details again on our website, hopefully by next week.
Right. I mean, that's important as well as filmmakers. I mean, creative people, we always think, we always have, I mean, even for me personally, it has like staying home and not going out, because most of the creatives, they get inspiration maybe by just taking a walk, maybe just.
Yeah, I wanted to say that, just hearing about Amon's festival, and I'm sure at some point I have been or have known about that festival. Festivals in general and film markets such as the Cannes Film Festival, etc.,
Right.
whatever, Sundance and the Palm Springs, Tribeca, and also some of the industry conventions like the National Association of Broadcasters in Las Vegas, or even the International Broadcast Convention in Amsterdam. These are platforms, these are hotbeds of interaction, and also the opportunity for people from all over the world for a finite time to actually put their creative brains together physically in one place. And a lot of what comes out of this, which I've experienced personally, is the chance meeting that can be life-changing. So my thought on Amon's situation with her festival and everything possible needs to be done, not just in kind, but I think financially something needs to be looked at moving forward in the future to ensure that festivals and the gatherings of creatives within our industry are secure, because they really are essential to the industry and to the end result, which is what audiences ultimately get to see on their screens, to experience and enjoy.
Okay, guys, we are gonna go for a quick break, and we are gonna be back with a Q&A segment where you can ask questions from our guests, and they will be more than happy to answer your questions. See you guys in a couple of minutes.
AI Infinity is about helping companies to deliver AI solutions quickly, securely, at low cost. So we developed a platform where the customers can, the organizations can able to develop solutions quickly at a very high speed and a low cost. So the platform has got a power of AI engine and a real good visualizations platform, which is very unique in the market, and it's mainly aimed for AI for business users. So where the business users and the data analysts can able to build AI solutions quickly by using a very quick drag and drop functionality, and they can build solutions in a matter of few hours with our platform. This is where the unique advantage of AI Infinity is about. We help deliver a lot of complex solutions in financial services like fraud detection models, credit card fraud, predictive models, customer engagement, and to optimize business value and increase ROI. So this is a real-time edge detection with AI, computer vision. So it's actually recognizing the people in a real time, as you could see, multiple people walking in here. So you can able to see the recognition of different people and different personas happening as moving in real time. So the power of this application, what we developed, is at a very low cost and very high powered application, where you can actually apply that into different scenarios like smart city and security and surveillance, and perhaps in different verticals to identify the facial recognition example, or maybe a fraud, different scenarios. And the power of the application here is that it's very low cost and high power and without internet connectivity. AI at the edge.
This is my dad. He was once a bubbly, happy, and positive person. He had been a cancer patient for many years. When I was younger, I remember our long winter walks, the fun times in the park, and all those hilarious jokes. After recovery, he was constantly tired, demotivated, and closed off. I didn't see the amazing smile anymore. That's when I developed my first well-being range using what my mom used on me as a kid, coconut oil. I incorporated coconut oil with my extensive research in aromatherapy oils to help improve his mood. So I gave him a moisturizer, diffuser, and candle, which we named Caribbean Mood. I saw a difference in him, and I saw the amazing smile he used to have. I knew I had to share this with the world. Okay, giving the organic lifestyle you deserve.
AI Infinity really is about helping companies to enable them to use AI at the optimum level and to be more AI-driven companies to solve complicated use cases about the fraud, an example, or maybe customer engagement, facial recognition, and we just wanted to help them to be that. We would see ourselves as visionaries in detecting some edge computing on a very real-time basis of applications what we have here to enable companies to apply in different verticals.
Okay, welcome back, guys. We've got some questions on Instagram. That's our Tail Media hashtag, which you can see in on our live banner down at the video. But I would also want y'all to know that you can type in the questions on our YouTube channel while it's live, so we can see the questions from the YouTube as well. So I've got one question. Aman will be able to answer this. Actually, it's about the festival industry. How will the festival industry cope in the future? Will there be any changes as to how the festivals are going to happen? So, Aman?
This pandemic without any change. There definitely will be a really big impact on how festivals operate, how they plan their activity, how they program. There will be some form of digital content, I think, made available. Businesses and festivals need to plan ahead and be more resilient so they can actually handle situations like this happening in the future. And as I mentioned, there will be a lot of organizational restructure. There will be changes to the way we work.
Right.
There will be changes to technology as well, that's implemented and used to carry out and deliver the festival work. So yes, the answer is yeah, they will change, and and we welcome the change as well, and to be better prepared for any future problems. Hopefully there's not any, but
Okay. So hope you got your answer. That's Steve.p. I don't think that's the full name, but anyways, there's another question. I think Amadin will be able to answer this. And how will the film industry work during this pandemic situation? I think what he means is like filmmaking, actually. How will the filmmaking be done during the pandemic? Will they completely stop filming, or that's what the question says? Okay, he's stopped
Well,
in the middle. But anyways,
well, I think we kind of answered. What was the guy's name again?
that's Steve A.D. Okay, that's a
So,
weird.
Steve, what I'm saying to you now is what we were saying before the break. It's not how we will film during the pandemic. It's already happening. People are still working. I'm here in Germany. People are working. We're making films. Crews are out there making films. They're making commercials. They're doing the work. The communication industry cannot stop. We are here having this show right now, and that is happening because we are doing. So it's not a case of how, it's a case of what do you want to do and find out how you can do it. You can still go out and shoot. You may have to do things in different ways. Crews may have to work in shifts and have your distances, so you've got your wardrobe, your makeup and your hair working here. You've got these people here. People can only go for coffees in twos and threes. The crowd scenes you may have to do in a different way, but with the technology that we have today, there are all kinds of creative ways of still delivering the message and the content. So it's not a case of when or how can we work through it. It's happening right now. So get on board that train and start making.
Right. So I hope you got the answer there. And oh, we've got Trap Soul. I'm sure he's a filmmaker by the name of it. Okay, Trap Soul is asking. So because Aman was mentioning about the changes, and they are gonna go. You're gonna go to some online platforms. Will it be the same? So it's more like a comment. It won't. Do you think that it's gonna be the same as like live interaction?
It can
So
never be the same as live interaction.
right.
This show, as we are doing it right now, is very different to how it would be is if we would be in the studio together, if we had had time to warm up in the green
Sorry.
room or whatever. It won't be the same. I think what we should be looking at is, can it be effective or can it be as effective? Because a lot of what we do
Right.
is emotional and is taking people on a journey. So it's whether the festival can take people on that journey or on a similar journey, working and delivering the content in a remote way. I think
Right.
that's more the question. And I don't think it's a
Sorry.
case of comparing one with the other, because that's impossible. I think what you have to do is to say, we are getting you from A to B in two different ways. One is live and interactive, where we can 360 degrees communicate together. The other one is digitally.
Right.
And I think it's a case of the effectivity of it rather than one being better than the other.
Right. And what's your input, Aman? What do you think about
Yeah,
this?
no, I totally agree. I think in the interim, we want to continue with that creativity. We want to continue with the content. We still want, audiences and people to have that interaction. But I think that, the key aim is to get them from their sofa to the cinemas at the end of the day. And I think, you can't really compare the two. So it's that whole process of attending, being socially involved, and the whole experience that comes with, a live, face-to-face masterclass or workshop. It is very difficult to compare, but I think in the interim, it's also important to keep engaged with our audiences, and to basically do what we can with what we have available.
Right. We've got another question. I think this is from a student of LSBU Film School. And he's asking actually, I don't know whether he or a she, that's 1 to 180. Okay, that's 1 to 180, you know who you are. He's asking, should the education for film students be different? Because there are so many changes that's happening right now.
Okay,
Amadin?
that's a very good question.
Yeah.
That's a very good question. Let's start with, and this is no disrespect to any film schools around the world or anywhere, but
Right.
there has been for many years a gap between what the industry needs and what students are actually taught actually at film and media school.
Okay.
Some years ago, the Evening Standard in the UK ran a story to say that, should parents actually be spending all this money on these students, where I think it was something like only 15%
Okay.
out of a total of students that left film, media school, etc., were still in the industry after a year. I mean,
Right.
these absolutely shocking, and I don't know whether they've gone up or they've gone down. So, in answer to your caller's question, yes, things need to change, and the way that students are prepared to enter the industry or to be part of an industry such as this definitely needs to change, and the ante needs to be up. And I don't like using the word however. we cannot get away from the fact that most students, sorry to say, when they are delivered to the industry, are not fit for. So again, this is a challenge that, let's say that COVID has the opportunity of helping us to maybe look closer into this and how the industry can work. Manufacturers are amazing. I must say that the manufacturers tend to have some of the communication skills and the training skills that are necessary. And within the relationship between manufacturers, kit suppliers, camera people, whatever, lighting, sound, and whatever, with universities and education institutions is amazing. Um, However, there is a lot of work to be done so that these students really um, can come out of full-time education into the industry with the understanding and the skills that they need to actually be of use. Because what happens is that as a production company, as a producer, or as a project or whatever, you then become unpaid trainers. So you take on these people who have come from the university or whatever, but cannot do what you need to be done. And so therefore, you are then having to give them basic on the job training. And no one's paying us for that.
Yeah.
And we're already a charity. And then, you have institutions that have been paid a lot of money to deliver these people to the industry. So there needs to be a lot of change. And let's say, COVID could help people have a better understanding as to what the industry requires, what and from the students' point of view, for them to be able to understand what is expected of them. And a lot of it is way outside of what they are taught in these institutions.
Perfect. So, unfortunately, our time is up for today's show. And I would like to thank you, Amadin and Aman, for joining us today.
I just want to say one thing.
Indeed.
In the words of Nick Powell,
Right.
keep going, keep going, keep
going.
going. Never give up, never give up, never give up.
That's an amazing message. Sorry. So, Aman, thank you very much for joining in.
I don't have like a great quote, but what he said. No, but please do reach out. I'm sure there's lots of people in the industry that can mentor, can offer opportunities, and now's the time to reach out and get in touch with organizations and see what is out there and kind of making use of that time in a productive way. So please do get in touch.
So what I'll do is I'll put all the information about our guests down below after the show. You can link up with them, speak to them, generate ideas along with them. They're very helpful. They'll be there to help you out in any possible way they can. And thank you very much for watching the show. And while you're at it, just make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. And next week we are going to come up with a different, very relevant business topic, which we will announce on our social media channels. And for now, hope you guys take care and do take care and stay safe, stay home, and I'll catch you next week sharp at 5. And this is BusinessWorks, and I'm Angelo, your host. See you next week.